Hello and welcome back to my channel, and thanks for rejoining me with my Dragon Warriors solo campaign. This is episode 3 and I've entitled it The King Under the Forest, on the basis that we are going to commence our adventuring today. There were a few things I just want to deal with. First of all, the character sheets. We've done in the last episode. We used our Dragon Warriors character worksheet, and I had created in total 6 characters for us to utilize in our adventures, and we have one primary or favored character, and that was our human knight, Isabella. She is going to be our favored character. And later on, what we'll do is we'll probably decide who is the primary or effective leader of this party, or maybe even shared leadership. But what I also wanted to do was what I did with this hard copy here was that I just move these out of the way just now, just so that we don't have them in the way. I created these kind of neater versions and did my famous color coding so that I could utilize my one of the trademarks of my channel is my little pawns. I'm actually going to go for the little wooden pawns this time, so we're going to go for a real authentic wooden pawn types. So I have, let's do them in order. Our heroine, Isabella, she's going to be in blue. Lysandra, our sorceress, she's going to be in red. Einar, our very handsome, strikingly handsome barbarian, is going to be in brown. Osric, a rather dull knight, is going to be in black, the Black Knight. Silas, I was going to say Silas, the evil elf. Well, he's not very nice. He's got a morality score of 2, which I explained in the last episode. I will recap on that. He is green, and Gerard, another human knight. You get the feeling that maybe these two, Osric and Gerard, should be in red, you know, like the security guys in Star Trek. But we're going to make them into a vital part of this adventure party. So that is our 6 heroes. We are ready to go on the color coding, and I have expanded on some of the stats. We had the base, you know, the race, the profession, the gender, and the background. So I managed to actually write in these little boxes exactly the little sentences that we were talking about. And we've got our morality score here. Nobility rating, I'll come back to that because that is a concept I want to discuss just after in a couple of minutes. We've got our attributes here, which are 5 of them. Health points. There is a concept of attack and defense, and that's used in combat. And the numbers that I have in brackets are the magical attack and defense. I think with the actual mechanics of the game, I will explain them and illustrate them when we come into a situation. I think that's probably the best way to deal with that. Each character comes with some baggage, which means that they have some armor, some weapons, and some equipment. And they also have, I think in this game world, they use florins as being like a silver coin, and there are 10 florins in 1 gold coin. So each have a certain amount of florins, which they have not had a chance to spend yet, but they came with some equipment too. So that is a useful things to know. The nobility rating, I have decided to introduce another concept, which is social class and nobility rating. So there are assumptions about the profession and the status this has in society. And I can assign a value guided by the individual's background of the character. So a knight is going to be a scale of 1 to 6. I'm saying that they have an ability rating of 4 to 6. They're born noble and they can command respect and hospitality. And the ones that I have given assigned already, I have given a 4 to Isabella, because she is a landless knight searching for patronage and purpose. So she's probably going to be at the lower levels of nobility. She's just on that rung and no more. And also Osric, he is sent forth on a pilgrimage to atone for blood spilled unjustly. So maybe he's in a bit of disgrace, so he's at a lower level too. And I haven't really assigned anything to anybody else, because a sorcerer, and that is Lysandra, and that's our next character, they are from an educated or minor noble background. So she could be from 2 to 4. So I'm just going to roll for that now in this episode and assign it. So let's find out what her... So she is a 3 on ability rating. And Einar and barbarians are 1 to 2. They are outside feudal society. They are seen as outsiders or savages. So not really high up in feudal society. He could very well be a very high number in barbarian society, but not here. So he's going to be a 2. So that is the best he is going to do in this feudal world. Who else have we got? We've got, we'll do Gerard, and he's bound by an oath to protect a sacred relic that none may see. So, that really could be anything. Is he a kind of guardian of almost like a ring or some sacred relic that must never ever see the light of day, is maybe hidden away in a castle somewhere, and he is one of the guardians, and maybe he has been sent out on a mission by the guardian keeper. Yes, maybe we could be developing this as we go along. One of the things I want to try to get in this campaign is a feeling of the mystery and almost like the Arthurian romance side of English mythology, and bring out to the fore that type of mystical and mysterious and kind of legendary atmosphere. Knights in shining armor and damsels and all that good stuff. Although I think with our male-female ratio, we're going to have a lot of quite bold female knights, as well as knights in shining armor on the male side. So where were we? We're going to try to do Gerard. I'm going to say that he will not make him of top level nobility, but he could go potentially up to 5. So we'll say on a 1 to 4, he is at level 4. So he is. So after all that, he's at level 4. And Silas the elf, and with elves and dwarves, they are not part of society, obviously, because this is a human society. But we can use a kind of surrogate measure. Use a 3 to 4 rating for elves based on the awe and the faithful respect, and a commoner for dwarves, a 1 to 2. So let us do Silas and see whether he is viewed favourably. So he is. So he's viewed as almost a knight. He is a knight. He is an elf. The envoy sent among men to recover a relic long lost to mortals. So this is a basis of quite a story that we could maybe build up about Silas if he survives the adventure, because this is quite an adventure for the characters to go on. First one. Let us see how they get on. And the whole point of this nobility rating is whenever on the basis that social status, and this always reminds me of chivalry and sorcery, because the whole basis of chivalry and sorcery is how you get on in feudal society, and your social class is quite integral to that. And this gives you access to things like patronage and wealth and connections, and all those sort of things that sort of leg up in society. And this is a kind of very simplistic way of recognizing that some of our characters are more, they almost get social deference just on the basis of their status and how what level they have been born into. And to us, to our modern eyes, this is very unfair. But there's no such thing as fairness in a feudal society. It is stratified. It's based on who your parents are, what level of society you've been born into. So we can actually use this nobility check, and we'll roll 1d6 whenever we demand hospitality or aid from a noble or the church. We attempt to assert authority in a settlement. We wish to impress or command respect from guards, clerks, or knights. We attend a feast, audience, or courtly gathering. We are challenged about our lineage, manners, or right to bear arms. So we can roll 1d6, compare it to our nobility rating, and if we get nobility rating or less, we are treated as our station commands, respect, obedience, or welcome. So in all these cases, we will get respect or obedience or welcome, depending on the circumstance. If we get above, we are treated with suspicion, disdain, or hostility, depending on the circumstance. So if you are a commoner and you're trying to demand hospitality, you're on a bit of a hiding to nothing, because if you say are level 2, if you get above 2, you will be treated with suspicion or disdain, or hey, saucy knave, stop behaving above your station. And we do have some modifiers based on whether you're well-dressed or display heraldry or a holy symbol. You bear a gift or token of friendship. You have a known reputation for heroism or virtue. And we can subtract things optionally. If you are traveling filthy, wounded, or ragged, you are in a foreign land or among rivals, your profession is distrusted. So sorcerers and barbarians always have a penalty. Okay, I'm not going to go on any further. I just wanted to establish what our nobility ratings were and say that these are going to be factors in this campaign. And as a recap, the only additions that I am making to this campaign in terms of mechanics are these two aspects: the nobility rating and the morality score, and having the scale, the actual scale of morality as a measure. And Isabella in particular, we will be measuring how she is progressing on her whole way to becoming a better knight, almost of a paladin level is probably the objective. I think what we'll do at this stage, we'll select the leadership of the party, and I would say that Isabella and Einar are the two that are the primary candidates. And I think probably I will go for Isabella as our, because she is our favourite character. We'll make her the primary, she can be our leader, and Einar can act as her deputy. He is very charismatic, he has looks of 18, which is by far the best attribute going in our party. I think we've got some 15s and 14s, but 18 really is stand out. So not only is he stunningly good looking, he's quite charismatic, he's probably quite loquacious and well-spoken and erudite for a barbarian, so he'll have quite a coarse accent in these feudal lands. But he really would probably have been quite a hit back in wherever he's come from, the forests or the north. So he probably feels like a bit of a fish out of water, but he's been compensated by some natural attributes of his good looks and his self-confidence, his self-esteem, and that's carrying him forward. And maybe he has a bit of rivalry with Isabella, but it could be on a friendly kind of basis. He's probably deferring to Isabella on the fact that he is a foreigner in a foreign land, so he doesn't really want to maybe take the lead. I don't think that would do too well for the party. So we're going to commence the adventure, and as I've said already, I'm going to explain the rules as we encounter situations. So I'm not going to just sit here and read out the Dragon Warriors rules. I am just going to go for it and start playing the game and explain different concepts of combat, magical, spell casting, encounters, how the monsters work, as and when we need to do this, when we actually encounter the situation. Excuse me. Okay. Right, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to just set the scene, and I will just move my characters out of the way for the time being. I will get into shot my little map, and this has been taken as a photocopy out of the actual main book as well. And what I might do is I can do a zoom in, and then you can see it a bit more. Just make sure that that is in shot, and you get to see the entire map. Okay, and then I can narrate some of the information and show you things as we go along. So, we have all recently arrived in the village of Axbridge, and Axbridge is here on the map. Some of them have travelled here from the north through the Halifax Wood. So this is the Halifax Wood here, along this path from Ashmore. Some of them have come through the Coronach Marshes. So the Coronach Marsh is here. Along the mysterious raised dike called Dobby's Walk. So you could probably actually read that because it is so zoomed up. I'll just put that there so you can, it's definitely in camera. You are strangers here, and you have spent the past few days getting the lie of the land. The villagers tell you that their lord is Baron Aldred, whose castle is many days' ride away. Axbridge is the most westerly village of his fief. Travellers pass through fairly regularly, so the villagers are better informed than most. They know that the fiefs of surly Baron Gizael and Montombre, nicknamed the Elfin Earl, lie to the south. They are ruthless lords, said to be no friends of Aldred. Harvest time is close, and the villagers are working long hours in the fields. Most of your information comes from Odo, a crippled old man who whiles away the day on a seat under the apple tree on the village green. He claims to have adventured a little in his younger days, and seems pleased to let you stay at his house in return for a florin or two every few days. And with Odo, characters, they begin to suspect that he has never actually adventured in his life. He just enjoys spinning yarns, and you know, that's not really a problem for Odo, the fact that they've kind of caught him out. And the longer they stay at his house, the more fanciful his stories become. And if the characters actually relate their own adventures to Odo, they eventually get a kind of feedback loop on this, and they see them recycled as episodes from his youth. So they really kind of worked him out. But he's a kindly old soul. The adventure begins. You have not helped bring in the harvest, but that doesn't stop you joining in the festivities, when a few days later, the last corn is cut. Cider is drunk, and a service performed by the village priest Bretwald. After the service, as the autumn evening turns to night, the villagers dance merrily in the churchyard. Bretwald joins you. Many of these rites are pagan, of course, he says with a wry smile, But it does no good to tell them that. He rubs his back. Bringing home the harvest has been a hard work for us all. I have a cask of cog wine inside. Come, join me for a drink. So we do. In Bretwald's house, you can still hear the sounds of revelry outside, but muffled now. The last rays of sunlight are fading, and he brings a lamp and places it on the table. He unfurls a parchment. It seems to be a map, and there is something written below in a script you do not recognize. Have you heard of Valandar? Asked Bretwald. Rex quondam rexque futurus. He is said to have been king of this land long ago. His reign was just and pious, a great warrior bound to be his vassals. But his evil half-brother Morgren hated him for his goodness, betrayed him to his enemies, wrought a war in which Valandar's kingdom was laid waste. The legends say that Valandar met Morgren in the final battle and struck him down with a single blow. But Morgren had laid a spell upon his sword, and it dealt the king a grievous wound as it fell from the traitor's dead hand. Mathor, the king's wizard, found his dying lord on the battlefield, and took him in his arms, carrying him to a secret crypt that he had built. There he placed Valandar with his 12 bravest knights, and all the treasures of his kingdom, to await the day when he is needed again to drive injustice from these shores. A pretty story, to be sure. I believe there was indeed a powerful warlord called Valandar, or Valdine, or Clavan. Accounts differ. This document was given to me by a monk years ago. He could not read the language. I was a friar in Cornumbria in my youth, and I learned a little of this script there. It tells where Valandar is buried. He stabs his finger down on the parchment. In Fenrig Forest, 3 days hence. Right. Okay. So I think we can probably bring in our characters now and have them come to life in the village of Axbridge. And we've got this new individual on the go, Bretwald. And he has them all entranced with his story. We are in rapture around him. We're all ears, definitely for the elf too. Probably let's have Isabella pipes up and says, Bretwald, why did you not, if you have this map for several years, why have you not made this expedition before now? And we do find out, Bretwald says, well, in fact, I have, and I'm happy to tell you about it. About a year ago, I found a suitable band of adventurers. At least I thought they were suitable. Agnar Wolfeye and his men turned out to be the most bloodthirsty cutthroats one could hope not to meet. We entered Fenring Forest, and while we were searching for the exact location of the tomb, one of Agnar's ruffians spied an elf nearby. The damn fool shot it with his crossbow. That was the start of our troubles. The next day or two, the men took sick, poisoned by bad water from a spring. A man we set out scouting failed to return, and dawn we awoke to find his severed head set on a pole by the campfire. Most of the men were for turning back then, but Agnar was a mad dog, and I, for my sins, I was too proud and greedy to abandon the search. We went deeper into the forest, keeping our scouts closer now. At last one of them called out to us, "Here, I've found it, here!" We rushed through the trees and came into the clearing where the colossal stone portal of the tomb stands. But the man who had called out was lashed upside down to a frame, and elves stood around with bows. Agnar bellowed crazily and charged them, swinging his axe. A tall fairy lord strode forward, spoke a word. Agnar fell dead in his tracks. Then the elf lord came to me, and I held my cross in trembling hands. I looked right into his pale, cold eyes. He said, "You are not one of them. You did not desire this madness, and we shall spare you our retribution. Go now, take my cloak, and the wolves shall let you pass." Sure enough, he gave me the cloak from his shoulders. I could see a circle of red-eyed wolves about the clearing now. Agnes' men were pleading with me to help them, but I could do nothing. I went to the edge of the clearing, and though the wolves snarled, they parted to let me go. I walked at first, then began to run. Behind me, the men began to scream. As God is my witness, they deserved their fate, but I covered my ears as I ran. It was bitter to know I had found the tomb and lost it. Then a wily thought came to me. I snagged the elf lord's cloak on a briar and began to unravel it as I went. When I reached the forest edge, I had used up all the thread. I went quickly to Saxton and lay in a fever there 3 days. When I went back, I could not find the thread, though I had marked the tree where I had wound the end of it. Abbot Adrian, whom I later consulted in a circumspect manner, was of the opinion that a fine fairy thread might only show in strong moonlight, for the elves make garments to keep themselves hidden. I believe him to be a considerable authority in such matters. The first full moon of Michaelmas falls 12 days from now, so if you wish to join me, we shall depart in just over a week. Well, that was quite a tale from Bretwald, and we are quite fired up by this, and it's quite an astounding bit of news. We do reflect on the fact that we've got a week to entertain ourselves in the village of Axbridge, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to zoom this in again so we can focus in on the map, because we're going to do a bit of overland travel with our characters, and I will get them watching on, and we can imagine our little troop in a marching order with Bretwald as well as we set off. Getting there, the village of Saxton, which lies very close to where Bretwald hopes to pick up the thread, is 3 days from Axbridge on foot. So Saxton is here, and Axbridge, where we are, is here. So we're going to have to go along this road here, cross the river, through these villages, and reach Saxton. And then this is Fenrig Forest to the north, and this is where the location of the tomb. The characters are going to set off on their adventure on the morning of that after this week that has passed, and they pass through open country where they espy a few peasants tilling the fields near the village or out gathering firewood. So it's a lovely, idyllic, rural situation. At dusk, they are passing Ingham, which is here. They are passing Ingham, and they decide to find shelter there for the night. So they're actually going to stop off in Ingham, get some shelter. They are up with a cockcrow, hoping to put eerie Norham wood, which is this wood here, and is quite mysterious, behind them, and they hurry north over the river, reaching the village of Treffel shortly after dark. They find the honest peasants of Treffel mistake them for thieving brigands. Oh dear, doors are barred in their faces, and for a while it seems they will get no lodging this night. This aggravates Einar. Yes, Einar is angry. He who resorts to bellowed threats as he pounds the flimsy door of the terrified cottagers. Eventually, the others calm down, Einar, and Bretwald, he manages to convince the village priest that they are honest wayfarers. They spend the night within the church. So we're in church in Bretwald. We're spending the night there. Einer's calmed down. He's had a bit of a fit. He's saying, "This is ridiculous. I've come. What sort of hospitality do you people offer in this society? You would have been straight into my hall. You would have had mead and all sorts of fine meats, and all I get is closed doors and snivelling peasants." They take breakfast with the priest and then depart, intending to set a brisk pace to the next village on the road, which is Saxton. Shortly after noon, as they sit by the roadside for lunch and a short rest, they see a grandly caparisoned group approaching them from the east. So this is very strange. We've got this group approaching. They are grand. They're drawing near. They see a haughty noblewoman on a snow-white charger. 7 armoured knights ride with her. The characters stand and bow, but she does not deign to acknowledge them. The knights stare only at her, enraptured as though drained of any will of their own. Once this strange entourage has passed, Bretwald turns to the characters and says in hushed tones, "I believe that was Lady Samana, a fey enchantress. Tales of her bewitching evil has spread far and wide. Those poor spellbound wretches are the knights who have sought to vanquish her through the years. She holds their souls in a silver chalice, so it is told." He hastily packs up his gear and gestures to the other characters to hurry away from here. A shiver goes up the characters' spines. Subdued and thoughtful, they trudge on towards Saxton. A night in Saxton holds no terrors. Needing to reach Fenrig Forest by nightfall, they rise late and do not leave the village until mid-afternoon. As the sun sets, they draw close to the edge of the forest. The party light lanterns and advance into the dark forest. The thread is easily found. It's tied to a marked tree a mile or so west of the forest river. So just in here, into Fenrig Forest. It is visible as a glimmering line, like spider silk shining in the moonlight. Following the thread, it takes them all night to reach the clearing where the tomb is meant to be located. As they are approaching the clearing, they hear a low growl, followed by some movement in the trees. Several pairs of red, glinting eyes stare back at them as they are surrounded by a pack of snarling wolves. Whoa. So I'm going to leave it there. We're going to trying to keep these episodes to under 30 minutes. I think I've failed on this count. But characters, they have been surprised by a group of wolves. How will they fare? We will have immediately, for our next episode, a potential confrontation between our fine adventurers and some canine adversaries. Who will come out on top? Let us find out. Thank you very much for watching this. This particular episode has been heavily narrative driven. Each of my following episodes will not be so. We will be doing actual meticulous adventuring with mapping and all that good dungeon stuff. And we'll be probably having individual encounters with some of the tricks and traps of the room. And also maybe some of the inhabitants of this tomb, which no doubt there will be many. Hopefully you are feeling that you're being absorbed into this wonderful world of Dragon Warriors, and you want to continue the adventure with my characters as they develop, and we will have a lot of interplay and banter between our fine group of individuals that we have here. Okay, right. hope you want to join me for my next episode. See you next time.